Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceanic Hundake with Reverend Yutaki Yamada. Today being Saturday the 19th of June or the 10th of May in the 9th year of Chongmulguk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Somebody. And let's recite our family pledge in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 8. 전일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 전일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일제 이상을 이루어 지산 천국과 천산 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chongmulguk, pledges having entered the era of Chongmulguk to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Thank you. I'd like to ask Reverend Ito if you could offer the opening prayer, please.
Our loving Heavenly Father, Heavenly Parents, we're so grateful in this occasion that just yesterday we share a very important gathering initiated by True Mother that this important 100 days and 43 couple special condition that True Mother want to us to focus on, practice this witness and education and the blessing and blessed families, Chombo families, so all those process through Mother try to educate us and bring us so that complete Heavenly Parents' dreams and True Parents' dreams and all humanity's dreams. Thank you so much this occasion. We share all the testimonies, the very important guidance through this, and we learn a lot throughout the brothers, sisters around the world. Thank you so much. Until late at night, we share those precious testimonies. Today, by this, we start again anew to complete the vision for 2027 and restore 1/3 of the humanity in this our region of Oceania and the each nations. Please be together with us to share, setting up among Dr. Reverend Yutaka, who share through Mother's autobiography and today the important themes. Thank you so much. Display Press Center Family Kenchike Koeta report to you. Aju. Amen.
Aju. Thank you. And let's welcome Reverend Yutaka as he shares with us this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining today's Fundakay. 1 week is really so fast, almost finished 1 week and start a new week. So each moment, how we can spend the time and how we can put our chonson to our heavenly parents and true parents. So this moment, centering on our true mother, how we can unite together, and what can we do, and what kind of things can we offer to our heavenly parents. So this is a really important point. So today also we will begin the new day to offer, and also offer our sincere devotion and our heart. So as our Reverend Ito pray about yesterday's meeting, actually we had yesterday leaders meeting from 7 p.m. until almost 1 a.m. Sydney time, because this is the international all leader gathered together, talking about the special condition for 100 days toward fulfill Chambo victors, and also 43 couple substantialize in each place, in each nation. So this target is really important. Now centering on our Heavenly Parents Holy Community as the leader, and as the Chombo family, and as the also Blessed family, how we can offer the victory. And even we are targeting fulfill 430 couple blessing horizontally, and the 430 generation for vertically. But in the same time, how to connect our 43 couples substantially to our movement, to let them come to receive education, service, and also tithing all activity together. So how we can focus. So from last year, Korea, Japan, all leaders focusing for 100 days, and also international leader first to focus 100 days. So yesterday, each nation's some model practice, they testify and they share what kind of activity they are doing, and also witnessing for 43 couple and 430 couple. The environment or situation is same. Another country is also under the COVID situation. They are not easy to meet the people someplace. So they are creating the similar way using online platform through the Facebook. They are creating good material and meeting the friend and the share the people. And some Europe nation, they prepared the beautiful flyer to testify about God's hope, and each family distributing every day, targeting 430 flyer. And all our Blessed family and leader cooperate together to testify and share and guide them to connect to our education. So yesterday, almost this morning, leaders come together and share how we can fulfill Chambo, and also substantialize for 43 couple. But Mother anyway emphasize Chombo, all Blessed family have to fulfill Chombo victors. But this purpose is not only just sharing the blessing the people, and not only just gaining ourselves to as the victorious position as the Chombo victor. This activity of providence itself is some kind of a training preparation period for the spiritual world, Mother said. That's why how we can develop ourselves through loving people, through inviting or educating the people, we ourselves should develop more to embrace and mature as the spiritual, as the human beings, and also our spiritual being. So our Chambo movement to Heavenly Tribe Messiah, and witnessing all our brothers and sisters, Blessed family and leaders have to victory. So during 100 days period, each nation is doing really hard work and targeting for next Chambo registration in next October. So Solomon Island, Fiji, Vanuatu, or New Zealand, now really they are doing in Solomon Island, doing blessing activity, more than 100 couple, 200 couple, they are giving blessing. And each nation, they are doing the blessing activity. Even New Zealand, I had every weekend doing the blessing family education and giving blessing. So individual level, also we have a Chombo Victors, and in Australia, Samoa, Marshall Island, also doing to visit the people or educating, even online DP education, even Victoria, Daniel also organizing. That's why even any kind of environment, even COVID or difficult environment, but how we can put our heart, pray that point and determine, then heaven's blessing and guidance will come together. Opportunity is actually waiting and the way is already open. So how we can, even from one person, from our friend, our neighbors, our relatives, how we can testify and guide them to our movement, our true family movement. So this is really to the mothers one of the main concern. So every day, actually every week, there are many kind of event or many kind of project which True Mother is preparing for each nation and also the international level. So if there is some providential activity is coming, if we just receive as the duty, then we become just worker doing some activity physically, but after fulfilling activity or providence, we don't have anything, nothing remaining in our heart, and no inspiration, our the spiritual way. That's why even any kind of providential matter is coming, we have to think well through this event, through this activity. I can save one person's spiritual life. I can connect one person through this event or this activity. So we have to pray and imagine our all guests, friends, neighbors, and families' face. And when we invite those persons, heaven surely can work together. So today is June 19, Saturday, and there are actually many events also. In the UPF side, UPF is preparing the legacy of peace. So many VIP passed away. So we are doing a celebration, legacy of peace, some kind of Songfa festival for our VIP. And YSP side also preparing the youth conference, some activity in this afternoon. And I think also Victoria preparing some UPF education summit. And next Sunday, our international headquarters also preparing our peace service to invite new guests. And also UPF, there is event for ILC. So there are many kind of event. But how about our attitude? If those event is coming, just we do as a duty, or we can catch this one as the opportunity to save or to find and to bring someone to connect through this educational providential event. So we have 14 nations in Oceania. There is special message and special hope. So we are praying every day for each nations. And also we should pray together for your nation, for your society, for your family, for your relative. So what kind of person you can imagine in your mind, and what kind of people's face you could see. So those idea, concept, or inspiration should not be finished, just concept or just idea. We have to get the message from heaven. What kind of message Heavenly Parents want to tell, and what kind of person he want me to meet and guide. So let's pray together and also put our heart and really find the person. So 43 and Chombo Victor, Heavenly Driver Messiah. So last night we have those sharing centering on our leaders. So almost finish around 1:30 or something. I think Samoa or Fiji is maybe 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. night time. Thank you for your attending and hard working. So because world is together, if here is night time, America is morning time, Africa is afternoon time. So there is no comfortable time period for everyone, right? We are going together, all world going together. That's why even any kind of time period, already we are living beyond the time and beyond the space. Anytime we can meet together, we can talk together, we can go together. So really now is a great era. We can connect together through online and work together. So anyway, yesterday I shared about those meeting contents. So let's continue. All leaders and brothers and sisters put our heart and really find new life and new people. There are many kind of testimony. We can sometimes share the witnessing testimony. Solomon and even guest is coming by own self to our Sydney, in Melbourne. Even we are not inviting in New York, New Zealand. I heard before we are inviting, already guest is coming by own self. And last week, some Japanese second gen came and visit to our Sydney, and they said, I really want to connect our Australia headquarters. And I type Google, but I cannot find the Family Federation Australia where you are. I wanted to meet. I came here 10 years ago in Australia. I cannot find. So finally, I asked the parents in Japan, and the Japan leader is looking for the contact number in Australia, Sydney. And finally, he could find the contact number. Then last week, he visited to Sydney. So that's why people is, I think, looking for us. But if we are not appearing to the society, they will lose the opportunity and they cannot connect. So really we have to depend also how much we are silent, how much we are not appearing on the society. So yeah, anyway, those people is now waiting and people is coming by own self. So our side, really have to determine well, and we have to approach and to show them and to share that great message. So anyway, yesterday many kind of testimony that was really good. So let's continue about Trumada's autobiography. So yesterday we share about the vision of one family under God. All nations should be connected by one road. This is International Highway Project. That's why Korea-Japan Peace Project. And also in the Bering Strait, there is King Peace Bridge and Tunnel Project. So how we can fulfill and how much children parents had invested already from long time ago, from 1981 or even 1970, or even starting point of children parents mission, continuously children parents invested to make one family and one global family under heavenly parents. So we have to cooperate to create the vision together. So let's see the next part today. Bold love breaks an iron curtain. In the late 1980s, with American conservatism on the rise, the solidarity movement generating success in Poland, and glasnost and perestroika progressing in Russia, the world was entering an era of reconciliation, at least on a superficial level. But at the same time, Moscow directed insurgencies were building momentum in Africa, Asia, and Central America. So this chapter Tirumada is talking about with communist and the Soviet Union and also Russia. So in the late 1980s, what kind of environment and what kind of providential things was going on? We could see, and how about our true parents? In 1980s, true parents was in America and investing to educate American people, and also true parents, true father went to Danbury prison. So we could see, and they invest to American government, American people to stand centering on God and to accept God and support the President Reagan. So centering on America, many providence was going on to support the value and also the family and also the moral as more conservative side that time, because that time America's position was really important, and still in the world level the communist world influence was strong. So we could see 1980 communist side and also America or democratic side, there was the big two group in the world. Moscow had succeeded in forcing the United States to pull out of Vietnam, allowing communism to run rampant there, and in the killing field of Cambodia. Marxists were still bent on their ambition to communize the entire world. At the time, my husband and I sponsored the World Media Association fact-finding tour, talking Western journalists to see firsthand the condition in the Soviet Union and other communist states, informing journalists with indisputable fact was an effective step toward ending the Cold War. So that time, America side or Moscow side, which side was stronger? We could not say which was strong. So the the developing speed was maybe the Moscow side was faster. Communist side was faster that time. So Vietnam and Cambodia, Laos, Indochina area, their power was strong. So kicked out America and make those nations to be communized, became the communist nation, and many people were sacrificed and many people were killed. So maybe some of you visited in Cambodia killing field. More than 2 million people were killed that time. So that was reality, or that was the fact in that society. Many people could not see and could not understand because we are living in different nation, but there is some difficult challenging and difficult person, and those miserable situation was maybe also currently some area, so difficult environment is currently going on. So how we can solve together or really save the nation and save the people, this is a crucial matter. So to parents seriously think about to stop the communism and to guide them to the God side. So organize all journalists and make a journalist tour to find this meaning of the communist. So continuously to parents invested for those movements. Besides taking the blinder off these journalists' eyes, the tours generated positive relations with Russia media. In addition, we welcomed the teams from communist countries during the 1988 Seoul Olympics, serving them with Korean food and gifts. On that foundation, my husband and I decided to go to Moscow to meet President Mikhail Gorbachev. So even this this providence, the role of media was really important. And finally, through communication with media, the parents could establish the relationship with media in Russia. So how was the Seoul Olympics? The parents really invested the time for supporting a Seoul Olympic 1988. Maybe some of you became the staff. That time, True Father said, we have to welcome all people into the Korea and have to attend them and serve them as the guest. And we are the host. So our all unification members, missionary, blessed family became the staff. And we are appointed by nation, they totally support this Olympic athlete from, I think, from Australia, from America, from Europe, from Africa, Oceania, or any nation. They are assigned as really the attendance staff and totally support and love and share the Korean culture and also our true parents' love. So maybe some of you attended, not just enjoying the Olympic game, you went also to support and attend them as the representative of the nation. So in 1988, the Big Providence was also developed at the time, and the parents also decided to go to Moscow in the Soviet Union. 17 years earlier, on July 1, 1973, we had declared that one day we would march to Moscow as we fought to overthrow communism. We had envisioned holding a rally in Red Square, and in October that year, we announced this to our members. Most were enthusiastic, though the prophecy reminded some of the dream-like vision of Don Quixote. Some burst. One of our church bands turned our vision into a song, Red Square, with the immoral refrain, must go to Moscow. Although the accomplishment of the goal took longer than we wished, my husband and I never forgot our commitment. So when three parents announced and declared to go to Moscow, that was in 1973. After three parents arrived in America and organizing the all tour in the state, education, and conference, but that time already three parents proclaimed to go to Moscow in 1973. So we could see the old bigger event already. We saw this one, the formation, the Madison Square Garden rally, and also the Yankee Stadium rally and Washington Monument rally, and three parents also proclaim declaration of rally in Moscow. Wow, so how much really great. That time there is not strong foundation yet in Soviet Union and Moscow, but already proclaiming to go to Moscow. So people doesn't believe that, and people also stop them. But the parents decide and prepared for that. We believe that winning the Soviet leadership's heart in Moscow's Kremlin Palace would tip the scale toward liberating God and all humanity. Our victory over communism work over the years was ultimately not about a political system, nor was it a public relations strategy to gain support from anti-communists. At its root was and is the question of God or no God. So let's please see this mother's sharing. What's the fundamental or core message? Even fighting with communists, even telling communists is wrong. But what was the main point? Mother said, we believe that winning Soviet leadership heart in Moscow Kremlin Palace. True parents try to gain the trust, try to gain the Soviet leadership's heart. This is the main point. How we can gain their heart, how we can win their heart, not just kill, not just beat them, how true parents try to melt them, embrace them, and gain their heart. This way, this attitude is our true parents' attitude, and this is the true parents' strategy. So, communist in the society and also same. Many kind of providence activity in the problem in the society. True parents' message and the core point is one point. Do you believe God? Or you don't believe God. You will go together with God, or you will go separate with God. Just this one point, God or no God. So when true parents talk and educate and deal with communist people, message is same. You have to recognize and understand our heavenly parents, understand our God. Otherwise, you could not find the future. So through those messages, continuously gave the main contents to the peoples. The real purpose of our struggle is to liberate the communist world and the West as well from atheistic materialism. During the Cold War, most people in the free world, including the journalists on our fact-finding tours, had no idea what life was like under communism. Others in a position to know choose to turn a blind eye, hesitating to take action out of fear. So what is their life under communist nations? So in the meantime, hundreds of millions in the communist world endure their circumstances, some not knowing where their next day's food would come from. To save these suffering millions, our heavenly parent pushed my husband and me to win over the Soviet Union and open the path by which we could do so. So what kind of things our heavenly parents is looking at and our true parents is looking at? They are not looking their nation, they are not looking their thought or ideology, just they are looking at themselves. You are my child, even you don't believe God, even you are communist, even you are any kind of situation or environment. You are my son, you are my daughter, you are my child. I want to save you. I want to bring you back to God's bosom. This is only one reason and one thought. That's why going to communist, doing to the victory of communist, telling and sharing and doing all activity in order to save them, bring them back, and let them understand you are children of God. So through mother's autobiography and also the mother's main providence in currently, in the past, and in the future, our message to parents, hope message is always same. All people is the children of God. Please recognize, please understand you are the son and daughter of heavenly parents, and please come back. This is the main message. So how we can stand behalf of heavenly parents, behalf of true parents, and how we can go as the family, as the brother and sisters of all our human beings. So there are many kind of providential event or activities because that much now is the urgent time period. Tower 2027 and True Mother and also our all brothers and sisters. Now is the time to unite together, to share the blessing and go forward to the people. So we could once again connect our heart and connect our hope and vision together with our heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you for joining today's morning Fundoke. So let's put our heart and pray, offer, and let's offer the victory and happiness to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka. As always, really illuminating this particular time in history. I was reflecting upon how you said how much mother and father invested in ending communism, ending the Cold War, and going to Russia and proclaiming, and one of the slides showed how father was instrumental in ending the Cold War. And actually, there was an article produced that came out explaining how a true father influenced and won the Cold War. And it was a 2-page spread of a daily newspaper. And actually, when I was in Solomon Islands, we put that same article in the Solomon Star, the main newspaper. And so there's a two-page spread explaining how a true father was instrumental in ending the Cold War. And I remember the politicians that we went after, looking at this article, and I was saying, wow, this is really amazing, it really helped many of the politicians in Solomon's recognize how influential and great our true parents are. So yeah, okay, thank you. Who'd like to share? Yes. Everyone's been kind to everyone else. Yes, Reed, go ahead. You got your hand up. Leighton. So it says Leighton Apps.
G'day. Leighton with a bit more of hair on the chin. This was a big time for us that were members during the 80s as well. Whenever we would change mission, whenever we would like go to MFT or something like that, we'd say goodbye to people by saying, oh, well, see you in Moscow. And that was a standard type of greeting, or, say, goodbye. There was a lot of stuff going on at that time. We also had the president of the time, Neil Salonen, in the late 70s said, we now have a communist Pope, because the Pope at the time came from Poland. But the thing was, he was very much aware of how communism worked as well. And so he was also working against communism. So there was a lot of good support there. But yeah, at the Seoul Olympic Games, then they had the media time with all the, and we were able to talk to Pravda, the Soviet newspaper, for the first time. Trevor Newman was one of the representatives from Australia. I'm not sure who else went at that time. Someone else might be able to help me with that. But yeah, it was very unexpected. We were expecting, we were anticipating we would go to Moscow. We weren't sure if we were able to get back from Moscow. That was the determination, the seriousness that we had. So yeah, it was a time when we really needed to, we understood that changes needed to be made, didn't know how it would happen, and it happened a lot faster than we expected, the way that father or true parents moved the thing forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Keitha, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just talking about this anti-communist fight in the early 80s just brings to mind part of my own journey and when I left New Zealand in whenever it was, the early 80s, Tony was working in Germany, and we lived right with about an hour's drive from the East German border. And but witnessing in the West was so dry, very, very dry in West Germany. And I was really homesick for New Zealand, and the German culture was really, and language was very tough. However, all of a sudden, yeah, actually the direction at that time was we Blessed Wives were mobilized to leave our children and go witnessing, and such serious things like, if you don't do this, the communists are coming, and blessed families and blessed children will be the first ones to be targeted. So yeah, a lot of us blessed wives left our children many times with other families, and there's a lot of pain in blessed families who did that, and in the children. And that wasn't just in Europe, that was in many parts of the world. We know that was done. So yeah, I think it would be, I feel, those blessed children who were traumatized through leaving their parents need to be honored and respected, because we wonder sometimes why, or why aren't they wanting to be with the movement and stuff like that. The other thing is, what happened was I was feeling really, yeah, like I said, witnessing in Germany was very dry. And then all of a sudden the Eastern European providence opened up, the marches in Poland and Czechoslovakia and things opened up, and the Berlin Wall came down. And then, and we were living very near the Berlin Wall, and suddenly I felt like I was really living in a very historical moment, right in the middle, watching the little tiny, like sardine cans, cars coming from, they just poured into the West. And then of course, Father immediately started calling, saying we have to go into the East. Yeah, and I had a dream where on the East, on the Berlin Wall, there's the watchtowers, and in this dream, I was looking at the watchtowers, and I said to everybody, it's safe to go now, it's safe to go now, we can go to the East. And then a few days later, Father asked us all to go to either a sister nation, which was Bulgaria, or to the Eastern Germany, which is where we went, and where we moved to as a family. Yeah, so and of course part of that also, that whole condition of that opening up was so many conditions that were laid. Also Hyojinim coming to the Berlin Wall, and there's a beautiful video of him, his impassioned prayer on the Berlin Wall for the rally we held there, and a big international membership came there to support that CARP convention. Yeah, so many, so for me, yeah, suddenly life became much more meaningful and exciting, but also very difficult. A lot of artistic sacrifice, leaving our children. Yeah, but it also, I reflect upon that a little bit also as pertaining to what we need to happen with the unification of North and South Korea, and the internal conditions. You know, the Berlin Wall could only come down because conditions two parents were doing, brothers and sisters were doing. Yeah, what is the internal conditions? Well, basically, I think we know what they are to make, to allow the safe reunification, you know, like it was with East and West Germany of North and South Korea. Yeah, so yeah, that's just some of my reflections today.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Okay, Steve, go ahead. You're next.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ranyamata, for what you do. You stimulate our memories and our hearts and bring us together in unity, and it's quite meaningful. We appreciate it so much. My mind is just whirling with experiences surrounding these topics today. I served in Vietnam in Army aviation, And I volunteered to go because, not to go to Nam, but to join the military, because I was deeply concerned about the expansion of communism. Additionally, in joining the church during that time as well, we were always aware of the March on Moscow. Father's work was fortunate to be able to lecture Causa in Portland, to be able to go to Russia in the Crimea. I was there with Paul Saber, as a matter of fact, for 40 days, working with students. Memorable. I'll never forget the experiences I had there, and also the talent and the passion of those Russian and students from around different parts, the Ukraine, Belarus. So that framed my mind in a different way about working with the sincerity of these young people, that they would bring about a change in those nations. Also, Korea was the first hot war of the Cold War, ostensibly to save our true parents. So the work of our true father I followed closely. I'm reminded also of Pol Pot. That so shocked me when he took the lives of 2 million people in Cambodia. That confirmed in me, the need and the decision that I had made to go to Vietnam was an important one to make my offering. Getting to know Tom McDevitt, who is so involved with the World Media Association now with his work as the international director of the UPF in that area as well. We've spoken about what's happening today in the world and what is behind movements in America and worldwide, in Australia as well, through neo-Marxism, Black Lives Matter, founded by two self-proclaimed Marxists, Antifa Marxist roots as well. In this country, behind the scenes, with the Frankfurt School and the expansion of postmodernism, these come from Marxists. And because it's motivated by Satan's resentment and hatred for Adam and Eve and to control and dominate people, and their hatred of God, their hatred of capitalism, the dialectic from Hegel, all these things, they see that the division, separation, and conflict brings higher dimensional results. This is a lie from hell, and still they think this way. So the fact that Father contributed so much internally and externally to the demise of communism in the military sense, as it was exposing itself back in those days, now we have to be aware of it and how its permutations today are affecting faith, freedom, and family, mostly in Western culture. So Susie and I are working on that now with our pastor educational program and other things in terms of the culture today and its effect on the church and the family in Australia. Now we're with a couple groups we're working on religious freedom challenges. So in any event, our challenge with communism, if you will, is not over. And to understand, we need to research this a bit and study this, so we know the posture we must take. We always know that God wins. When Cain strikes, it's handing the victory to Abel. So we will win, but what I'm concerned about is the collateral damage that may occur before we actually claim victory over the satanic forces. In any event, thank you again, everybody, for your contributions and for your reflections today. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Catherine, yeah, go ahead.
I was one of the fortunate ones to be able to go to the Seoul Olympic Games. Yes, Trevor Newman was there, and Michael Tracy from Australia, and Jeff Prentice was with me from New Zealand. For me, it was very outstanding because that was the first time I ever met true parents, was at Hamnangdong. We were basically inviting, Father wanted the physical side, that with the Olympic Games were going on, and at the same time, Father was bringing the cultural events. So we were inviting people to Xinjiang Ballet. The orchestra was there, and we were also able to go and watch the True Children with the equestrian events, and we were able to watch the rowing events as well. But in the meantime, we were inviting people to come to the cultural events and giving gifts also to the gold medalists that were represented in our countries. And we also met with the diplomats in the with our country as well. It was a really, we didn't know what we were doing at one stage, you know, at different times, because we were going to go and out witnessing, and then next minute, change your clothes, get on the bus, we're going to Hamnandong, change your clothes, we're going here. Why aren't you here? Why aren't you there? So it was really exciting time. You didn't know what was, you had a plan, but your father would change your plans. We had called one time to go to Hamnandong, and we were fortunate to be able to watch the Olympic Games with True Parents on the TVs. So we had big TV screens going, and every channel had something different. And father was watching every event so intensely. You couldn't focus on any event because father was watching each one, and you didn't know when it was going to be changed. It was also the time he called us to go to Hamnandong for the Foundation Day for the Nation of the Unified World. We were called for that, and when he declared that there. So there were many things happening, and it was quite an exciting time there, and a great honor to be there with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more. You'd like to share? Be the last one to share today.
You have to chat, raise your hand first so that she knows, man. You gotta learn, Papa.
Yeah, you go ahead, Seti, we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Good morning, everyone. That was Mama scolding me for my lack of tech words here. So good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm just reminded of this was also the age of the carpies, the World Carp. Just to shout out for this was time when carp was so busy on many campuses, and somehow in my journey, I ended up in the mid 80s. We started carp in New Zealand, three of us, Gerald Trask, Peter Holdham, and myself. And this is kind of like the age of the flower wars. We funded everything by selling flowers. We opened a University Times, which we put out in about 4 universities of New Zealand, and it was a very the communist presence was very strong in those especially in Auckland campus, where there was the Pacific Island young people. They joined, especially the Samoans. They started the Black Panther movement, kind of looking towards America's Black Panthers, and yeah. So I remember really even visiting churches and things to counter the influence of these radical left-wing students, and even the lecturers. I was studying education at the time, and one of our main lecturers, he was so communist. So when I came into the room, sometimes he'd pick up a stool and treat me like a lion tamer or something, because I would always speak out against what he was lecturing. So yeah, it was really the anti-communist providence was very strong. And then later on in the late 80s, 86, I worked with CARP in 86, 87 in Northern California. And I was with Tongilmuro, and we would do the rounds of all the universities doing demonstrations while Dr. Sok spoke out against the leftist and anti-God elements. So that was an amazing experience. And then later on in the Philippines, you know, we trained, we did CARP work so actively with PWPA and PARP and everything. And wherever we went, we were conscious of this communist element, and sometimes physically even fighting against these elements in different campuses. So I just wanted to, yeah, touch base on the work of CARP at that time in the different parts of the world. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you everyone. Now it's time to share our unison prayer together. I'll just share the screen. Okay, let's begin. Arju. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and see you next time.
mìnhเข้าได้ใช่ไหมsorry.
Bye bye, everyone.
Have a good day.
God bless.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Great. Wow. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
イタリアの。